don't want marijuana dispensaries in their city, even though state law say you can have them. So counties and cities fight you. They like, well, even though the state says you can have them, we don't want them in our city. We don't want them in our county. And so what they have is law enforcement don't really come and enforce the laws, but they have what the police department. These different cities have what they call code enforcement officers, and they like to enforce the municipal codes in the city, and they come and shut you down. And I was having problems with getting shut down and all that. But in the meantime, I was developing the relationships with different people that were dependent on it. So they would come to the store and buy what they needed and all of that. Develop relationships, of course, as you do. As like most people have relationships with the guy at the local liquor store and stuff like that. That's a human nature. We're not robots. You develop relationships with people. And I did. These guys were gang members that I developed this relationship with. Because that's the element that unfortunately that's not scared to do whatever they're doing with it. Uh, Develop the relationships, and so I started supplying them with it. Uh, but they had other issues where they were gang members. So now they in other states other than California and stuff, you could go in pretty much not all states, but some states, and Memphis is one, where you could go in and buy a gun that same day. And they don't do too much checking and all of that stuff. And so the guys were doing that and sending them back to California. ATF didn't like that. Got wind of it, started investigating it. But these guys were also doing this with the guns, but they also dealing with me and was dealing with the marijuana. So as federal agents, when they get on you, they got too much goddamn time on their hands. They investigate you for 4 or 5 years.
Uh-huh.
And that's what they did. Sat on it, investigated, and sat back and caught me eventually. But by this time, I'm having relationships with these dudes, and my shops are closing down, and I'm getting involved with them, and I'm helping them get, selling their marijuana, and they transferring it across state lines. But that's the key word right there, going across state lines. That I did, and I was wrong, and I messed up, and I regret, and I did, and so that's what happened. Uh, the marijuana that was supplied was going across state lines, and that's a no-no. And so for any young kids that's out there that's trying to get in and want to do that, y'all be careful because it ain't worth it. I'm telling you. The jail prison system, quick money, easy money, it goes, and it's time and stuff. You're not promised to get out of there. Unfortunately, I got out of there, went in there and and it was cool, and I was at a prison camp because I didn't have a bad record or anything, but I still got effects from it now where I'm fucked up now because I caught COVID in the system, and still trying to bounce back from that. I don't believe I would have caught that if I wasn't in the federal system for doing something that I did way back starting in 2013, 2014 that I'm still paying for.
At some point, your dad got caught up in this, correct?
My biggest regret, but luckily I had a good U.S. attorney that saw through it, assistant U.S. attorney that realized that okay, this man just being loyal or being uh, was duped or whatever by his son, and he had nothing to do with this. And even though he should have been smart enough and he should have known, but we believe that he didn't. Uh, he wasn't involved in it,
Gotcha.
but he was smart enough where he should have known. And luckily, he didn't have to pay the price like I did.
How much time did you actually have to do?
18 months. I did 18 months. So I was blessed. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I was in there with guys that did 3 months, 3 years for marijuana crimes. I was in guys in there that did 10 years for gun cases and other things. The federal system, that prison system is it's no joke. I don't care how long you're in there. A year away from your family is gives you something to think about. I wouldn't change it. I mean, it was a an experience. I ain't gonna say a good experience, but it was an experience. I met some people in there that I got friendships with, or going to have some friendships with, lifetime friendships. I learned some things in there. Something I hope none of my family members or my kids ever have to go through. I'll be honest. I hope it taught me some things. Taught
Yeah.
me some things of respect to other people and how you treat other people. And I learned some things in there.
What was your mindset going into it? Was there a lot of fear, nervousness, um,
All of that.
all of that? Yeah.
but I kind of had talked to people and I knew it wasn't that bad because I knew as long as you go in there and give the respect and don't be over there trying to be Mr. Biggie badass and all of that, then you're gonna be okay. You're gonna have a few niggas that wanna challenge you or to see what you're about. But for the most part, man, as long as you go over there, even the COs, you give them their respect and they gonna give it back. You go in there trying to, you're gonna have some that's assholes, and that's just them. But as long as you ain't just an asshole just to me and you're an asshole to everybody, I didn't have a problem with those COs. And that's what you were. We knew what you was about. When those particular CO is gonna be on duty and there, and you learn this program and you just do it. You adjust. And that's what you got to do. That's the only problem that I had. That I had to learn that you couldn't move when you want to move. You
Yeah.
get up for count. You get up and do this when they tell you to do it.
Exactly.
You lose all your rights to. I ain't doing it. I can't do it. No, nigga, you can do it or you pay the price. Take your ass to the shoe or whatever.
Yeah. Was there like any crazy experiences that you had during that period of time when you was locked up?
I saw things, but unfortunately, people kind of knew who I were. And they gave me the respect. Like I said, I was at a camp, which I mean, I say a prison camp, but those niggas are the same people. They
Yeah.
were, they. I was in there with niggas that had been in there 20, 30 years. They just worked their way
Work their way
down
down.
to
Yeah.
get to the points to get to a camp, and had less than 10 years left. And so they were just as foolish as some of the other ones, but they were smart enough, or they knew that you didn't. I mean, shit. Probably we had a problem with because we had this thing that they call Unicore at our prison, and one of y'all said y'all was an ex, so y'all know about Unicore, and we had it with electronics. So those niggas was we had fire sticks to watch everything on TV,
Yeah.
and we had phones and everything in there, and they were getting caught and rolled. We would get, that's what they would get. So we were always getting searched or getting shaken down because they knew we had phones in there like crazy. And I didn't need the phone because I had enough money. I wasn't addicted to Instagram, and because that's what they get in trouble from, watching porn. Because they give you enough time to be on
Yeah.
the phones.
Yeah.
And they give you, and then now they got something where you can email people. And I had money on the books where I could email all day. So I didn't understand why niggas, but they were on no phones like crazy. And that's what got most of the guys rolled up. You had some fights, but they kept that quiet. I don't remember nobody getting in trouble for fighting. I mean, I seen niggas, especially because of Paisas, we got three sets. You got what they call the Islanders, which is like not Samoan. Well, they like all the Asian people and the Arabs and all of them. They call themselves the Islanders. Then you have the blacks. Then you have the whites. Then you have the game members, the Northerners and the Southerners. And then you have the Pisces. But those Pisces is usually the deepest on the
Yeah.
West Coast, and they discipline each other. They be slapping and they deal with each other. Where the blacks, we didn't we didn't do our. We was only about 30 of us, and we didn't have the structure like they did.
Okay.
Everybody was kind of just cliquish.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was in one of the cliques that were cool. We didn't have no problems. We had very few problems. And then, I gambled. And, you had to gamble. I tell you, you had to gamble. You have time because we was doing a lot of poker. But food, your locker,
Yeah.
shit in your locker that you can get by every Wednesday. And the gambling table was usually done by everybody. And so I was cool with everybody because we gambled. So we was all cool, the Pisces or the Southerners and the Northerners. They kind of a little bit more stricter. The gang, the Southsiders and the Northerners. So they kind of stick to themselves a little more than the white guys. They try to be tough, but they so outnumbered where we were at.
Yeah.
The prison is bad too because I used to go in there and be like, look at that. 3 days of the week you got all blacks in the kitchen. 4 days of the week you got all the Mexicans in there. And they all just it's like, man, y'all need to mix this up. Y'all
Same
promote
shit,
this.
right?
Y'all promote this separation and
It's a
shit.
vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.